Alright, so this is the Iowa, the black version. It's been some years since I've painted this mask, and I kind of regret not recording it from the beginning. I kind of just wanted to paint this and get it done and move on to the next, but it's been, I don't know how many years, 2000, what, 11, 12, 13 maybe, since I painted this version. So you missed out on the first couple um, paint layers, the base and then black and then a little bit of white. So I'm going to continue on doing the white, and I am using rubber cement and naphtha to paint my masks. So if you're going to try this method, I urge you to try it in a well ventilated area, because rubber cement and naphtha are no good for your body and your nervous system. The reason why I can paint with rubber cement in my shop is because I got it well ventilated. I have a AC unit and then a bathroom exhaust, a big bathroom exhaust on top that pulls the air out. And one thing I like to do with my rubber cements is put down the layers translucent as possible, because I like to play with my layers, like the colors, when I lay them down. You guys really like my paint jobs, and I don't know. I enjoy painting with rubber cements. I mean, at first it was a bitch because toxic fumes and limited to when you paint, the weather and stuff. So I'm gonna add on a couple layers um, on this mask with the white, in certain areas, not all over the place. Gives that organic, type of feel. Sort of like mopping with paint. And this mask really is just, four colors, really. So it shouldn't be too difficult to replicate. You don't see the back very much, so you know, so it's really up to the artist to paint whatever on the back, really. And when I'm putting down my layers, I like to put down, when I'm first putting the paint down, I put it in the primary areas where I want the paint, and then kind of blend it out. I'll show you here what I mean in a minute when I'm doing the brain. With this paint method, you can go back and forth. It's no real, you know, like making a mistake when you're painting with this method. You can always go back over and cover it up, and then blend it out. So what I'm doing now is switching from the number 8 brush. I did, basically, the majority of the body with this brush, number 8. And I'm going to be switching to a smaller brush. I believe it's a number 3. Yeah, number 3. And I'm going to be painting the face and the mouth area and the eyeshadow, the white eyeshadow. Right there, yeah. I'll be putting it down on the edges, because when you're painting, it's good to not start on a sensitive area. You kind of feel into it in a way. I've messed up a couple times by getting too excited and going. It seems like right now, like what I can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to. I was kind of caught off guard here because I can't differentiate between the two. So what I'm going to do now is put in the red. Get some contrast. As far as the end result from build up to to a solid color. and that's the red. So the base, the skin tone, and then the pentagram color. So that way I can differentiate between the two. I don't know if you could see what I meant. And then it's really just mixing the colors and putting them down. So the ratio for how I paint, it's a little flexible. Like you can, whatever, type of opacity you need, you can play with it. And here's my palette. I just have another dram cup with a compressor adapter to weigh it down, so I'm not easily knocking it over and getting paint fucking everywhere. I have all the essential colors that I need for this paint job. So I'm going to be putting 3 colors to get the blood, the base color, which is cadmium medium, right there. And then I'll be using, I think it's permanent red, and then black. Yeah, you want to mix it, pretty good, because some of the paint can sit at the bottom, and when you're painting, you just dip your brush in there and you pick it up, and there's a little blob of a certain color. Yeah, it really pisses me off because I've done it so many times on the Iowa, or the regular paint job for the Iowa, like the regular skin tone. And I'm, mixing up a color or something, and I had that little bead of a darker color, and I'm painting in a sensitive area, and then boom, it's just a black streak, or brown streak, or red streak, and you're like, no. So when you're mixing the paint, just do your best to thoroughly mix it, and I guess just be observant when you're dipping your brush into the paint. And then there's the black. And black is just to darken the red, to make it more, more burgundy than red. You can also add green, just a smidge of green. But I don't need it for this batch of blood. Yeah, mix it really good. Get in there all the way. Rim job, yeah. And I believe that is the color. A little bit more naphtha. Felt like it was getting a little thick on me there. And painting with rubber cement is a little tricky because the consistency, depending on the type of, if you want it thick or if you want it like translucent and runny, it's it's sort of a wild card, because when you pull that paint out like that, you can get strands, and you're going to the. So what I like to do is, when I'm putting down paint or I'm dipping my paint in the dram cup, I like to twist my brush. I'll dip it in, twist it, make sure there's no melted cheese type of stretchiness going on there, where like it's still sticking to the bottom, and you make a string out of that, and then you're moving the brush to the mask, and you have that line that follows it. And I've done that plenty of times. So what I like to do is I like to rotate my brush when I dip it in, as well as when I'm putting down the color. I'll twist it. I'll twist it, and it just helps me control the paint a little better. And that's one side of the pentagram done. And the overall what it looks like. I mean, I'm going to add a little more other colors to this, but for right now I'm just going to put in the pentagram and then the brain and then work on the details after. Put that in and then rotate that. Yeah. You know, little things, you know, I've picked up over painting with rubber cement. And I don't think I'll be doing this for this paint job, but there are other, you know, little tricks that I do with rubber cement to kind of give it that authentic look. Sometimes, like the rubber cement will stick to the edge of the brass where the bristles of the brush are, and I'll just, you know, rub that on the mask, you know, real quick, and it'll pull a piece of that color out, and it'll stick to it. You know, I mean, it really takes some practice to get it down, but you can get some little tiny pieces. You know, it varies. You know, little shards here and there, and it just. I'll have to show you on another paint job. You won't be able to. I won't be able to use that technique on this one because it wouldn't make sense because the whole thing's black. So, I think this is going to be the end of this video. This is part 1, I believe, and maybe part 2 or part 3, or it could just be a part 2. I haven't really looked at the other videos yet, chopping them up and